And cool. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Anime Social Club once again, where we have discussions about anime. And joined, as always, is your boy Kid Benji, along with Cold Waffles, aka John,
Yo,
and Kuro Numa. Did I say it right? Aka Bridget.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fucking God, dude. You see, now I'm gonna be paranoid the entire podcast that I say anything correctly. So
just say it wrong.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Say what you feel. Say it. Say how you feel.
I'll say it for my soul.
Yeah.
So on today's podcast, we're going to be doing a full-length year in review episode. We're going to have a couple of these, especially for the big years where they had a ton of impact. But before we get into that, how is everybody? How you doing?
Emotional.
Kuro came in.
I'm doing pretty well. I just ate 10 eggs for dinner.
Holy shit!
That
dude.
was a lot of eggs.
That's a lot of.
Yeah, that was a lot of eggs.
A lot of chickens are inside me right now. So
Yeah, they are a lot of dead chickens.
Yeah.
How about you, Kuro? You came in pretty.
Yeah, I just stopped in right before the last two episodes of Wolf's Rain, and the last episode was not very. It was good, but didn't go very well, so I was very emotional.
Sounds like it. Yeah, it makes me want to watch it when an anime invokes an emotion like that. It's like, oh, that must be pretty good to do that, you know. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
that's really good.
Definitely on that want to watch list. I actually just finished the movie for the week, Mirai no Mirai. I fucking love that movie. That was a great movie. So if you
It's
guys
on my
haven't
list.
seen it, yeah, go watch it. Which
yeah.
I'm be doing a podcast on it tomorrow, on time for once. So that's great. Just like this one, which we've been on time every single week, which I'm proud of us. You know, little
Yes.
applause for us. Okay, so before we get into it, I learned something today, and that you cannot search up not safe for work series unless you're logged in, which you'll find out why later.
Oh God.
Oh no. Oh no. I know what it is.
Yeah, I was pretty clear what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might not know, so it's gonna be the surprise end to this whole thing when we reveal what we have as the last thing to show what came out in 2006.
No.
Yeah. Also, if you are watching this on YouTube, you can also find the audio version down in the description. And if you're listening to the audio version, you can find the video version on YouTube. Just search Anime Social Club or click the links in the description below. So if you're watching us and you're wondering why I have the sealed out MP4 video, it's because we were trying to get happy before the... I wanted to make Kuro stop crying, which I think it worked. Okay, so let's go ahead and we move this on over here.
UEC makes an excellent point that only TV series really should count. So I don't think we have to talk about OVAs. Just
I feel it. Yeah, but it's still let's see how you say culturally impactful.
No matter how impactful it is, it's whatever. We'll get to it. When
it gave me
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
It gave me one of the greatest videos of it. I made me laugh so hard. Excuse me. Oh my God. Allergies coming. So the year we are doing this week, as you can tell by the title, is the year 2006. This again still predates the iPhone. I was how old was I? Waffles, quick maths.
We were both 14.
We were both 14 at the time. Kuro was much younger than that. And
I was 8 or 7.
Yeah, don't just.
Yeah, she was.
You're making it sound like old man.
I know, right? Yes, you should be scared. Fuck you, Akari. I love your name, by the way. I love that fucking name. It's just rolls off the tongue. But 2006, very big year in anime. So we have a lot of shows to cover, and man, it was a definite golden year. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, it's known as one of the best years ever.
Yeah, I remember.
It's pretty much one of like the consensus best years. Like it's not really even up for debate whether or not it was a good year. The debate is like, is this the best year ever? That's the debate I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. And as I was going through it, I noticed a lot of these shows. I didn't watch it in '06. I actually watched them mostly in '07 and '08 because I watched them on Toonami.
Right.
Barring from like the obvious one, but and I remember staying up late at night, like always having to watch it. Um, like it was a must see, and this was before I even knew the concept of seasonal anime. It was more so just that, oh, Toonami is premiering this thing on late night, and it's quality television. So I was like, dang, this is dope. So it was like one of my first introductions to like legit anime, I guess you could say, that actually had a good story, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
But before we delve into each individual series, we need to give a rating to last week's, the 2003. We're kind of gonna give it a letter grade. I don't know if you guys had any idea what grade you guys kind of wanted to give it, more or less, for 2003. And if you don't have one, we can wait till the end of the show to do that if you guys want.
C plus.
C plus.
I didn't know we were doing pluses and minuses.
I gave it a plus just because I wanted to.
Yeah, what's the plus for? Where the
Wolf's Rain.
So it's a C plus Wolf's Rain. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Thank you for the follow, Scurvy. Appreciate ya.
I think it was a really top heavy year overall. I think it had like some really big hits at the top, but it didn't have a lot of depth like at all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a D. And that's because I value depth over high points.
D for depth.
D for depth. I like it.
It doesn't have depth.
D for minus depth. Give it a D minus.
Well,
also, thank you, Emma Grandma.
I'm not that harsh.
Yeah. I would probably agree. I'm gonna go in between both of you guys and give it a C minus.
All right, I can live with that.
Wasn't anything too grand, but maybe if I watch Wolf's Rain, it'll become a C in my mind. So I need to fucking write this down. But while I do that, let's go ahead and move on to the first show from 2006, arguably the biggest from that year, which is Death Note. One of the obvious choices from this year and regarded as probably one of the greatest animes of all time by some, maybe not by all, but I would say by a good majority, considering it really innovated on the space. So what did this show do for you? Like, did you guys watch it as it aired, or was there like a particular time? How late were you introduced to it? What are your general thoughts on Death Note?
So for me, Death Note's biggest thing in anime is not the show itself or its influence on other shows, but it's the impact it had on anime and the way that society looks at anime. Because you can really look at anime before Death Note and after Death Note in terms of its popularity, the way people regarded it, and just the way that people were able to just like express themselves as an anime fan were just forever changed by Death Note. And it was really big before the anime came out. Like the manga was huge. I remember like everyone was reading it like in school. It was like the first manga that was kind of like cool to be reading. And the anime was the same way. It was like it made anime cool. So I think the kids today who are able to walk around with anime t-shirts without getting bullied and all this, I think a lot of that is thanks to Death Note. And then me personally, I actually didn't watch it until very late. I want to say like 2016. I watched it. Oh, there's me. The reaction. But yeah, I watched it very late. I thought it was a really good show in the first half. Like, one of the pinnacles of the genre of psychological mystery shows. And then something happens. I know most people have seen it, so they know what it is that happens. And the show just turns into a complete garbage shit show for the last third. But up until that point, it's a really strong show. It has a great antagonist. It's one of the only shows I've ever seen where the antagonist is the main character. Like the villain is the main character, I should say. And so that's like super unique. And then the psychological aspects are also something that's been extremely influential. You could see it in a lot of psychological shows today.
Yeah,
That's my overall take on Death Note.
Yeah, and it's good that you brought that up because I believe, you know, psychological anime has been something that's been pretty absent and kind of hard to do well, just because of how well you really need to execute it, especially nowadays that we have a lot of people that really tend to analyze anime pretty in depth. What about you, Kuro? What was Death Note for you?
Death Note was one of the first anime I watched, but this was when my experience with anime is I watched it as a kid, but I wasn't into anime until a bit later. So I probably watched it around the same age you guys were when it came out. But it's one of the first series I watched because my friend really liked it, who got me into anime. And yeah, I mean, I really liked it when I first watched it. Since it was one of the first ones I watched, I didn't really think too much about the third part of it, basically. But as I went and rewatched it maybe a few years ago, I was like, ugh, mess of a third part. But yeah, I mean, it was really influential for me. I felt like I could talk about it to people because, again, it was a show that everybody seemed to know or know about. Like, when people would ask me if I liked anime, they'd be like, oh, like, do you like Death Note? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And I actually had a Death Note shirt, too, that I wore to school. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and it's funny that you bring up the merch for it because I would have to say that, like, in my memory from Death Note, that was probably one of the first anime that I saw that really delved deep into merchandise. Apart from, like, you know, the mainstream big three, Death Note was like this kind of outlier that I started noticing was kind of a little bit more into the streetwear culture, but still kind of breaking its way into what we would consider mainstream fashion, and, you know, popping up in, you know, hot topic areas and, you know, some on even some.
That's where I got the shirt from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even being like inspiration for like a lot of people's quote unquote aesthetic now, and like back in the day as well. But yeah, overall, so for me, this was probably the first show that I had a suspenseful expectation for. And before that, it was really there's a show called Heroes that came out on like NBC, I think. And
yeah, it was on NBC.
Yeah, and I it was a suspenseful expectation for that show where I was like, oh my god, like I couldn't wait to see what happened. Like, I was excited. I cared about the characters. I was like, dude, what's gonna happen to them? Like, the thought of like losing a character was like it gave me this thrill, you know. And
agreed.
You know, since then, apart from that, from my childhood, like Death Note was probably the first early on show that did that for me. Every single week, wanting to see what was gonna happen, like this whole cat and mouse game I had never really seen before, and the way that they displayed a lot of these eccentric movements in with him just writing in his notebook, biting the chips, laughing,
the chips.
And
I take a potato chip.
Exactly.
And I eat it.
And it just had so much of these memorable moments that I was like, oh my god, like this was it was such a unique experience for me. And I'm like, man, this like it and it's funny enough, it was like the show I would say for like the longest time that I recommend to people if they haven't watched anime. It's like one of the best intro shows that you can really have because it's the closest thing I would say to like a real life show, considering how much people love like SVU and CSI Miami and, you know, all these detective murder mystery types of shows. Death Note really touches on that aspect of like the American nighttime primetime TV culture. And so I think it's a good show to like just recommend to pretty much anybody to really get them into the medium of anime in general.
Yeah, it's super approachable.
Yeah.
I do have one more thing. I actually, at the last con I went to, I watched Death Note dub first, and then I did watch it subbed as well. And I don't hate the dub. And I met Brad Swile, who played Light Yagami, and he signed my thing with an L stamp, and then he wrote Light after it, so it was really cool.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
I have it on my wall.
Nice.
Nice. That's cool that, especially with voice actors, you can really get, like, it's a lot easier to see them, at conventions than you would, more mainstream actors, which it's pretty much a benefit for the anime community.
And we'll see, he also voiced another important character in another 2006 anime that we will be bringing up. So
excited to see. Okay, next one. Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion. Man, oh man. So, I fucking love this show as a kid. Again, came out in the exact same time. Being someone who loved mech, I was just like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. It's like mech with politics, and it's in my mind, I was like, oh my god, this is fucking awesome. Like, his eye can make people do anything. What was your guys' reaction to the show? I mean, did you even see it, Waffles?
I haven't seen it still,
You haven't
which
seen
is
it?
surprising because I'm a pretty big mecha fan.
Oh
But
shit! Did you?
I'm planning on watching it very soon, but I still haven't seen it.
Oh shit! Yeah, well, this is definitely a must watch for you. I would highly recommend. But before I go off, what about you, Kuro?
Yeah, so Code Geass, I watched Code Geass maybe 6 years ago. And it was my number 2 anime for a very long time. Like, really long. And then I started watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and now I don't think it's as good. But I don't know, I still have it at like a 7 or so. I think I need to rewatch it because I have not watched it in 6 years, and I think I want to revisit a lot of things because everyone knows the Code Geass ending. You know the show by its ending, like that's how it is. And but I don't remember most of everything else that happened. So I want to go back and rewatch it and fully judge it.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh yeah, totally. And maybe one day I'll get to do that as well. But this show really came after I watched like Zoids, G Gundam, a lot of mech anime that was very eccentric, that kind of didn't really delve in like the seriousness or the political side of anime. So watching this, it was like such a huge breath of fresh air that I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe like this is what you can do with the mech genre. You can give me the badass, constantly upgrading, powering up, aspect of the mech, while also give me like the complexity and political side, and the 200 IQ moves that you do to try to outwit your opponent. And to be honest, this show was a very good compliment to Death Note because it had those same type of like cat and mouse elements with between Light and L and Lelouch versus Britannia, and all the like crazy like supernatural and like secrets that you find out along the way. It's a journey definitely to be relished. However, I will say towards the end into season 2, there was a couple of complaints that I definitely had. It was one of the first times. Yeah, it was one of the first times I've ever questioned about whether or not I want a season 3 of an anime. But it was it was such an interesting ending. I'll say that.
It's important to watch because of how iconic the ending is.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, most definitely. And I think it was one of the first probably the second betrayal, like heavy backstabbing moments in anime that is definitely one of the that mean top 10 anime betrayals. Apart from seeing a lot of those aspects in Death Note, seeing it in a mecha, I was like, holy shit, like this is amazing. I was like, I could not, my little brain at the time could not fathom it. But yeah, overall great show, and definitely recommendation to watch. And even, would you recommend it to newer people who are newer to anime, Kuro?
Yes, because I don't know. Like, I think everything that Legend of the Galactic Heroes does is what Code Geass was trying to do, but not as well. But you're not going to get a new anime fan to watch that series because it's old. So I would recommend it. Also, just for its cultural impact it had on anime. I mean, it was very popular. It still is, and a lot of people have had it and held it in high regard for a really long time. So
Yeah, I would love a remastering where they just updated everything.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the fights are really fucked.
Well, they have those movies. I think those are supposed to be remasters, but I didn't watch any of them, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it. Okay, next one. And now, okay, I'm going to preface this with a trigger warning. Yes, we fucking know. So you don't have to tell us. And you'll find out why when I close this tab. We know, okay? Avatar.
I just want to say this is clearly anime. No one should be getting triggered right now.
Okay, I get that. But, you know, some people will definitely do that.
But go ahead. What is this anime that we're looking at right now?
Avatar is an American-made anime. People will try to meme for that. Interestingly enough, this is book 2, Earth, which I think people regard it as probably the best book out of the series in The Last Airbender. Again,
What people are you talking to?
I don't know. That's just what I've seen. I've seen comments like here and there online after the fact. But
Fire?
hey, yo, I'm just saying what I saw, okay?
Okay.
Personally, I would agree with you. I like the Book of Fire better, but all in all, this was another fantastic series. I thought, you know, stupid Nickelodeon tricked me. I was like, oh my god, a renaissance in shows on Nickelodeon. No, this was probably all we got. We never had anything similar to it except for Korra, which probably wasn't as good, but Avatar still had its impact, you know, as a whole, and I would say probably got a lot of people into anime in general. But what are your guys' thoughts? Let's start with Kuro.
I don't have a lot of thoughts, just because I remember watching Avatar as a kid, because it was on Cartoon Network, I believe.
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, one of the two, yeah. But I remember watching it as a kid. My brother really liked it, but I don't remember a lot of the story. I have planned one day to go and actually watch all of it, because I know it's supposed to be really good. I have seen some of Korra, which I know is not as good, but yeah, so I don't really have a huge opinion on Avatar.
All good.
I love Avatar so much.
Yes.
I've watched all 3 books 5 times.
Okay, let me guess your favorite character. Can I guess real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Zuko.
No.
Ah, shit. Never mind.
It's Toph.
Yeah. That should have been obvious.
I love Toph so much. But I feel like for a kid's show, it explores so many like deep things. Like I don't think it's one of those kids shows that's directed at adults. I don't. Like, I think if I were to watch it again now, like the last time I watched it, I was probably like 18, and it was still kind of like I was starting to wane on it. But I think for kids, like, it's such a perfect show. Like, this is a show where if I did have kids, I'm not gonna have kids. I'm definitely gonna get a vasectomy. But if I did have kids, I would definitely make them watch Avatar. Like, it teaches you so many different values and like the meaning of friendship and relationships, and like how you're supposed to treat other people, how you can teach yourself to learn, how you can interact in other cultures. Like, it explores so many important things and values that children really need to learn. So I think the way that it handles all these like relatively heavy issues is just so beautiful. And the ending makes me cry every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, totally. And it's a, you know, almost makes you want Korra to have never existed to some point. But you know, it was just so good amidst everything else that was premiering at the time, because it was definitely an anomaly amongst all the other shows. And it's, you know, kind of a shame that we didn't get more that is like akin to this. I would say probably the only thing that would come close is Teen Titans in terms of like, you know, story and quality of show. But even then, I would still personally put Avatar above Teen Titans in that regard. But for my personal experience, I totally agree. It teaches a lot of great values, and it does it in a way where it's not boring and not like they don't really force that trope really hard onto you, and you're not. It's not even really structured like, because a lot of the shows at this time were really based around this whole week to week progression, so it was like very obvious as to oh, this is going to be the midpoint, or this is the end point, or this is the end of this part of the journey. It just flowed really well. You could say that I love pacing back then, but yeah, it was such a staple, and it will forever have a special place in my heart. So definitely love this show. So all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Ouran High School Host Club. Now, I have not watched this, so Waffles, take it away.
Okay, so my my anime club recently watched this for our monthly anime, and we watched and we discussed it. We got all analytical on Ouran.
Analytical on Ouran.
Which was not that easy, because this is not a deep show.
It's not.
At all, but it has some beautiful boys.
It does.
It is a reverse harem. I haven't seen too many reverse harems. It might be the only one I've seen, but I think it's pretty solid. It accomplishes what it sets out to do. But if you're looking for like a deeper show, you're not going to find it here. There are some like moral issues discussed and issues of friendship, but I'm not a big fan of the way that it discusses them. I think like this is not a show that I would make my kids watch. I don't think it teaches the best values. I think it kind of shows children that you can just do whatever and still get attention from everyone. And then we have guys in the show who are just like dicks and really creepy, and I don't know. I don't approve of a lot of the characters, but it's definitely a great show to watch if you're into yaoi type things. There's a lot of gay stuff going on. We got some twincest going on in this show.
Very much.
Yeah, we got some cross-dressing going on. It's got everything,
Yeah.
All right, how about you, Kuro?
Okay, so Ouran High School Host Club is not a show that I'd probably be into at this stage in my life, but I watched it when I was 13, so yeah, it was, again, one of the first series I watched. I watched it on YouTube in like 240 pixels. And I really liked it then. It was one of my favorite shows. I really don't have much to say about it because Waffles kind of got it all. It's not really deep or anything special. It was just probably the first like yaoi-esque show I watched and what has made me into what I am now. So
I feel it.
It's an influential series on my childhood. I say
it's definitely it's like a gateway drug for yaoi.
Yes. Very much. Very much.
If you ever wanted to get into more of the gay side of anime, watch this. Fun fact:
explore your homosexuality, or men exploring their homosexuality, to be more specific.
Exactly.
Yes.
But a little fun fact: I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Anime Social Club logo uses a minimalist rendition of the Ouran High School Host Club boys.
I did notice that
for the logo. So a little bit of a Anime Social Club trivia for you. That's ever a thing. So let's go ahead and move on to the next anime. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. So I have my whole spiel on this show, or not show, movie. We actually watched it for the Kitsu Anime Movie Club thing, like I think 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so before I give my quick little spiel, what about you, Waffles?
So for a long time, this was my favorite movie. Like I love this movie so much, but it was also it was like the first non-franchise movie that I watched. So, I really didn't have too much to compare it to, but even after I had watched a few other ones, it's still like I just loved it so much. I love that the characters in this anime are like not, your typical tropes of a romance. Like the romance still goes in pretty predictable ways, but the characters in it are not these archetypes that we see in every other romance. You know, like we have a girl who is fairly independent and strong-willed, and she's a goof. You know, she's just so endearing. And then we have these standoffish men who are still like close, and they, you know, still like afraid to speak their feelings. Like there are some tropey things going on, but just the personalities of the characters didn't feel like something I had experienced before. And rewatching it for the movie club, it held up pretty well. There are some things that bothered me a lot more the second time through that didn't bother me the first time. So it's definitely not my favorite movie now, but it's still a really strong movie. And I think especially for 2006, like this is a movie that kind of set the standard at the time for a romance movie.
Nice. What about you, Kuro?
So, I have not watched this movie.
Really?
I just watched my first Hosoda film the other night, which was Children. So I will watch it soon. I was okay with Wolf Children. Not my favorite movie, but it was fine. So I might like this one better. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Hosoda is like, okay. I'm an eternal fan because of the Digimon movies. Like they're saying in chat. I really love it. There's just something about the aesthetic that he gives, and even in Summer Wars, when you're in the supernatural or digital space, he does this very distinct stylized look where all the outlines are really bright colors, and they accentuate on this like black and white background, which I think is super cool, and I absolutely love that. However, A Girl Who Leapt Through Time definitely is not really regarded that high by me personally. So today I just watched Mirai no Mirai, and that movie came out last year, and you can definitely see the improvement in his directing, because it seems, at least to me, Mirai is the improved version of A Girl Who Leapt Through Time. Not to say that A Girl Who Leapt Through Time was like terrible, but Mirai executes probably everything that this tried to do, but for the most part, it's still a quality watch. There are a lot of themes that are really cool that are introduced in ways that you probably really haven't seen it explored in an anime. And if anything, just the character interactions are worth it as a whole. I loved every single one of these characters. The story may not have been that great, but the characters were fantastic. Except for the girl at a couple times, but you know, that was kind of her thing, being goofy. But all in all, yeah, definitely watch it, especially if you're a fan of the Digimon movies. It's pretty good, but definitely not something amazing. Was 100% more of a Mirai fan overall, but still definitely worth a watch though if you want to watch a non-franchise movie.
I think they're pretty different because of the age of the characters in each movie. Like you couldn't have romance with the Mirai characters, you know, because they're literally like, what's the boy, like 4?
Yeah. Oh, it mostly has to do with how time is used, but I'm gonna go over that in very good depth tomorrow. So, but I'm
just saying he couldn't. You see, yeah, they're siblings, but I'm not saying between each other. I just mean there couldn't be romance between him and anyone. Like, same thing with the girl. They're both just so young. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that there should be. Yeah, that would be disgusting.
We just got done talking about Ouran High School Host Club.
Yeah, my gripe isn't so much as with like the romance aspect, but more so of the supernatural and the story as a whole, not really the themes that it tries to touch on. Because I think it did touch on them pretty well. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Never watched this, so Kuro, let us know what's up.
No, I don't think Nova's gonna like our talking of it, because and I dropped it. I think Waffles also dropped it.
I also dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand its cultural impact on anime and how important it is, but I do not like it for personal reasons. So that is Harhi for me.
I think at the time that I watched it, it was like I watched it right after the movie came out, and I watched the movie first because the movie, when that came out, it was like so incredibly popular. It was one of like the top rated shows, or not shows, but anime on Mal. I think it might have been the top rated movie, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the best anime movie, not knowing that wasn't the Haruhi that everyone talks about.
No.
I thought the disappearance was Joe. I thought that was it. So then I think I didn't even realize it was a movie at first, and I get like 20 minutes, no, like 25 minutes, and I'm like, this is going kind of long. And I'm like half an hour. I'm like, man, this is a really long first episode. And then it just keeps going. And I'm like, wow, this isn't a TV show, is it? So I was super confused, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna give the show a chance and see if it explains what's going on. But to be honest, I didn't really give it a chance. I think at the time I had been watching a lot of other school anime, and it just seemed like a typical school anime. I should have given it more of a chance, but I didn't. And I think I was just so mad and frustrated at having been confused for like an hour and a half with a movie that, like, it's not a movie you can watch at all if you haven't seen the show, because they don't explain who Harhi is. Everyone's just upset that she's like missing, and I'm like, who is this girl? Like, I don't even know who this is. Why are all these people care so much? So yeah, I can't really comment on the show much because I haven't watched it.
I feel it. I totally get the frustration, considering I watched Tomoko Love Market without actually seeing Tomoko Love Story. Or wait, no, the other way around.
Yeah, Tomoko Love Story.
Yeah. So it was an experiment, and that failed miserably. So I know never to do that again.
Want to know the best story I have of doing that?
Was better than Disappearance. Like, that one at least explained who all the characters were.
Yeah.
The main characters. It didn't explain the side characters.
Yeah.
But it was still better for the viewer than Disappearance without watching Melancholy.
What were you going to say, Kuro?
The best thing I watch out of order, if I'm being honest with you, I watched Code Geass Season 2 first.
Okay, I don't...
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, I just looked it up because I didn't know how to internet when I watched it, and so I just looked it up,
God,
and that was the one. So I watched it first.
Wow. All right then. Okay. I don't even know how to respond to that. Anyways,
I didn't finish it. I stopped and then went into the
good.
Thank
I
did not fully watch season 2 first, but I'm just saying I did watch season 2 first.
Thank God. Okay. Well,
and I was confused.
Next, we're gonna move on to. I'm gonna just preface this. I haven't seen it. Okay, it is too much of a time sink for right now. So I'm gonna let Kuro take it away for Gintama. Go for it, Kuro.
Woohoo. This is my staple anime. Yeah, Gintama. I didn't watch it in 2006. I just watched Gintama 2 years ago. So this is a fairly new series to me. But it's in my top 3 anime. It's really good. One of the highly acclaimed shonen, and this was where it started. The parts that aired in 2006, I think, Waffles, you said 37 episodes?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, it had aired 37 episodes.
Yeah, so at this point, it was fine. It wasn't at its best in 2006, but for a series that at the time was not that popular and was a little sketchy to be airing on TV with the type of comedy that it does, the production was pretty good. It only continued to get better years later. But yeah, Gintama is just really great. Everyone really kind of knows Gintama. And yeah, the last chapter... Oh, it already came... Yeah, the last chapter basically comes out tonight or today. So it's ending right as we're talking about this.
Wow, how
Don't cry. Don't cry.
I will, and you know I will.
I don't think Kuro has enough tears at this
I
point?
don't. I'm not ready for it to end. But yeah, Gintama is. It's also my highest rated 2006 anime. So I give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Waffles? You any experience with this?
No. Well, I have a experience, but it doesn't really relate to the anime as a whole. I'm pretty sure this happened to a lot of people. But so I Gintama is another anime that on Mal in this era, back in like 2008 or 2009, Gintama like owned Mal. Like it was so highly rated, and now it's like even worse. Not, I shouldn't say worse. It's even better if you're a Gintama fan, because every season is like in the top 20. So yeah, so I was like, all right, I need to see what all the fuss is about. And I watch it, and I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, man, this is dope. I can see why people like this. And then all of a sudden, episode 3 just has nothing to do with what the first 2 episodes were going on about. And I'm just like so confused. And I'm like, okay, I guess this show is just not for me. But then I find out, like, I think like years later, I found out that the first 2 episodes were like a special that for some reason they aired before the main plot started.
Yeah, they're filler. They aren't.
Yeah. So now Kuro, after much prodding and convincing, has finally gotten me to give it a shot. So I'm planning on watching a bit of an abridged version, which I'm sure people will scoff at, but I'm going to get to the first main arc by watching, I think it's like 15 episodes, and then I'm going to watch the first movie. And that's how I'm going to judge the show. But I've like cherry picked 15 different episodes that will introduce all the major characters that are in the movie.
Oh, nice. Yeah. One day, I'll eventually take a dive into it, like I did with Index. But Gintama, like as you said, when I was first getting into anime, it was dominating, like you said, dominating the charts, and I was like, "What the fuck is this show?" But because it was extremely popular, I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna watch it." I went and watched everything else on that top 10 list, which I don't regret because I saw a lot of really great stuff.
Yeah, I decided to watch it because I'd seen every season in the top 10, and I was like, all right, well, it's shonen.
Yeah,
you know me.
Yeah, exactly.
So here we go.
But one day I'll definitely dive into it. So can't deny its whole cultural impact though. On to the next show, which I'm not even sure it was supposed to be in here, but fuck it. Hellsing Ultimate. Have you guys seen this?
Nope.
No? Okay. Thought so. I saw the first 2 episodes of it. I didn't know anime could be this gory.
Yes.
From what I remember. Holy
Very
shit. Ultimate is the brotherhood to Hellsing, if I'm correct. I'm definitely gonna watch this, like go back and finish it, but it was such a badass dark anime, and I was like, holy shit, like I didn't know it could, like, as you could see, 2006 really introduced me to a lot of shows that showed me that anime can go into places I never knew it could go into. So if I were to like relate this, like if you've seen the Castlevania series on Netflix, and if you liked it, definitely watch Hellsing Ultimate. It is definitely a good watch. And then I think the original Hellsing is like pretty much a meme at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Of how bad
I've seen a lot of like videos and things of Hellsing. I'm not sure if they're of the Ultimate version or the original, but I know Alucard was like stupidly popular on forums, like just random people. Like he was one of the most popular avatars that people would have. Like, or like
I have friends that really love Hellsing.
Oh
yeah, like Alucard was huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
People were super into him.
Yeah. So
UBC is right. The original music was better than Ultimate.
Yeah, I'll have to take another dive back into it. So, anyways, on to the next anime, Black Lagoon. Have either of you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Go for it, Waffles.
You go.
Okay, so Black Lagoon. I mean, we've got priests. Well, not priests, because right, priests can't be women, but nuns shooting guns in churches. So that's pretty cool. I mean, this is like High School of the Dead, but instead of ecchi, it's just like gunfights. That's how I would describe it. Like, I don't like the show at all. It's definitely not a show for me, but I can see why the people who love it, I can see why they love it, because like the action scenes are just incredible. Like, but the plot, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to say it's a bad plot. It definitely has a plot, and the plot is solid, but it's not like enough for me. And I feel like the characters they're not like getting developed. They don't have the relationships that I'd want to see. The antagonist, though, the villain is really cool, I thought. What was her name? I can't remember. But it was like an interesting show, but not a show for me.
Cool. What about you, Kuro?
I'm watching it this month, but Brad Swile, who voiced Light Yagami, also voiced Rock in Black Lagoon.
Oh, nice.
So, fun fact, I have him. He signed a Black Lagoon thing for me as well. So, because I knew I was going to watch the show at some point, so I just went and got it.
Dope. And I love guns. I love women. So this is definitely gonna have to be a watch for me. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Welcome to the N.H.K. One of the So I didn't watch this in 2006. I watched it like in 2011, 2012. Definitely one of the first shows to make me think a lot and make me kind of question a lot of stuff. Just because it was it's a psychological anime. And it really, again, went into a space I had never really experienced before. Yay for depression. But I enjoy the show. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I don't really remember much from it. But I do remember it having an impact on me at the time that I watched it. Just wish I could remember all the specific stuff. I remember the ending though. But what about you guys? Have you guys seen it?
I think I've gotten to like episode 9 before I dropped it, something like that. But this is a show I really need to watch again and give it another try, because at the time I watched it, I think I didn't relate to it at all. I've always been a pretty social person. I never had trouble going outside. But I think in adulthood, I can kind of relate to it a little bit more, like with the social anxiety. I've been unemployed before. I still don't think I'll relate to his obsession with porn. But I think I'll at least be able to get a little bit more out of it. I've watched a lot more psychological anime now. So I think I'll be able to appreciate the psychological elements more. But yeah, I don't know. I think another thing was, back when I watched it, I was so much less okay with being uncomfortable with an anime, and now I love that feeling. But this was an anime that made me really uncomfortable because the main character, like, he was just everything I don't like in a person. And yeah, at the time he was everything I didn't like, and now like those things are fine with me. But I was like super judging him the whole time back when I was watching it.
Yeah.
So now I definitely want to give it another chance though, because I think this could be like honestly one of my favorites. That's how much of a transformation I feel like I've gone through since I've watched this.
What about you, Kuro?
I have not watched it. It is on my list to watch for this year. So hopefully soon I will be seeing it.
Yeah, and I think this anime is deep enough to where I think if we all gave it a good watch through, we could probably do a good episode on, kind of breaking down the themes and exploring what it talks about. But okay, let's move on to the next series, Fate Stay Night. And I believe Waffles, you haven't seen it, right?
No, I've only seen Zero.
Wow, must be nice.
I know, right? Okay.
I gave Zero a 4, so I don't know how nice that is.
Oh my gosh, you gave Fate Zero a 4?
You gave 4?
But we won't talk about that right now. Let's talk about Fate Stay Night.
All right, I gave it a 4. I consider it one of the greatest I've seen.
Yeah.
So
One of the greatest sports of all time.
sure. So I watched Night right after Zero.
Mhm.
I didn't know at the time. I just kept seeing people saying, "Oh my god, like Night sucks. Don't watch Night." And I'm like, how bad it could be. Then I watched it, and then I was like, people kill when they're died. Uh,
People kill when they die.
yeah. What's the line? Is
People die when they're killed.
Yeah, exactly. See, but
Yeah,
my
it's on
line
screen
was
right
just
now.
as stupid as that one, which
Yeah.
turned into a huge ass meme. But
Yes.
for the most part, like this, okay, I was in my Fate infancy, so just the whole concept of the show was pretty badass to me, and you know I powered through it for as good or bad as it was, and I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I mean? It's more Fate. You know what I mean? What can be so bad about more Fate? And yeah, there is a lot bad about more Fate,
There's a
especially
lot
this
bad
Fate.
about more Fate.
And so if you're and they remastered this one, right? They did an updated version like 2 years ago.
Unlimited
Yeah,
Blade
unlimited.
Works.
Yeah. I actually watched the movie after this, and then I was like, oh, there you go, breath of fresh air. But
Yeah, Unlimited Blade Works is slightly different.
oh yeah, and I think this one wasn't this one animated by Type Moon
Dean.
or Dean? Yeah,
Yeah, Studio
yeah.
Dean.
Yeah, and then it went over to Ufotable after that, which was the best decision they could ever make. What about you, Kuro? What's your experience with it? Yeah, I don't know why I said Type Moon.
I watched Fate Stay Night purely because I wanted to watch Fate Zero, and people were like, well, you should watch Stay Night anyway, just so you can understand it a little better. And I was like, okay. So I watched it, and it sucked. I barely got through it, and I really didn't want to watch Fate Zero after that because I was like, damn, like, I hated this. But I watched Fate Zero anyway, and Fate Zero was really good. I haven't liked another Fate series. I've watched Unlimited Blade Works, and I've watched Heaven's Field. Didn't really like them. Fate Zero is pretty much the only good one for me. But yeah, Stay Night was terrible. But it does have Rin in it, and she's good, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually I'll and I would say like the most unfortunate part is that this was like the precursor to something great and then something terrible all over again. Like they have a mobile game now called Fate Grand Order, and they're making all the anime connect back to the mobile game. And so this has led to like a billion different iterations of Fate from like alternate timelines. So there's like 10 different versions of Saber. And I'm like this is just getting so convoluted. It's like, how are you going to get new people into the series when the oldest thing you have sucks and the current thing is too confusing, you know? But
yeah.
for the most part, I think if you stick to Zero and Unlimited, you know, you're pretty good. You know, it's interesting. It's a pretty different concept, and I think Ufotable really executes it very well for what we've gotten out of it so far. So, but yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Higurashi. I've not seen it, and I probably never will. So, Waffles, take it away, brother.
Okay, so Higurashi is an anime. Sorry, I gotta refresh the stream. Okay, there it is. Higurashi is an anime that a lot of people have mixed opinions about. Some people say it's incredible. A lot of people say that it's only good if you watch this and the second season. I've only seen the first season so far, but I honestly liked it a lot. I thought it was like a really funny, like lighthearted show about young women learning how to play some card games. Like I really like, I watched the characters and I just, you know, I related to them because I've played a lot of card games myself. You know, I grew up playing hearts and spades, you know.
The ultimate debate.
And yeah, the things that really bothered me though were there were a lot of times where like the girls after school, they were getting set to play cards and all of a sudden they would just like walk out on the club without even saying why. Like if you're gonna play cards, you need to stick to your commitment. You can't just make a commitment and then just walk out on it. So that really bothered me about the show. Like I feel like they're enforcing really bad values because it's a kid show. So like the kids who are watching it, they're gonna see that and be like, oh, I don't have to go to my after school club. It doesn't matter. Like, man, I don't know. So I kind of had mixed opinions about it. I thought that the scenes where the characters were getting like close to each other, like the one where the one where Reina brings the main character dinner, like that was really sweet. I thought that was just adorable. Yeah, so it had a lot of really memorable scenes.
Totally.
I would definitely recommend this.
It definitely does.
What about you,
Yeah.
Kuro?
Yeah. Waffles got it pretty good.
UAC has a great point. The scene where they're all doing their fingernails, like, that's just great. That's just great.
Yeah. Waffles highlighted all the good and bad points of it clearly. So.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it right there. Next one. D Gray Man. Or I like to call it Disappointment the Anime.
Come on, bro.
Okay, look. This was probably the first disappointment as a kid.
That makes me sad.
No, but here's why. And it's more so on the fault of the distribution company, because I was watching the show consistently from beginning to like now, and the show just ends on some really random fucking point, and then you're just left with like this insanely stupid cliffhanger that you're just like, what the fuck? Like, where's the rest of the story? And
the new season came out 9 years later.
I know, and it's like you can't leave me off of a high point, and just pull the earth out of under me, then drop me off a 100-foot story building, and like I've never had hype killed more than watching D Gray Man. Now, is it probably okay? Still not, because I tried to watch the sequel, which eventually did come out, and it had none of the same energy like the beginning of D Gray Man did. The manga, though, I will say, carries the energy really well, but I don't think the anime does it very good. So if you're gonna watch this, probably watch the first season and then just read the manga for the rest of it, because the manga for the I can remember panels from it because of how really like it was sparkly and it was like eccentric and detailed, the way that they portrayed Alan, and there's just a lot of good things about it. But I know Waffles, you haven't seen this, right?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. How about and I know Kuro, go off.
Yeah. Obviously now I don't rate D Gray Man that well, but D Gray Man was one of my favorite anime for a very long time. Again, one of my first series that I got into, probably the second shonen I ever watched. So I really liked it as a young person, but now that I've read the manga, I don't like it as much anymore. But like, I can't shit talk it. Like, I just don't want to, just because I liked it so much when I was younger.
Same way about Dragon Ball Z.
I genuinely did like the new season, though. Like, I was very excited when the new season came out, and I watched every episode, and I liked the animation style they went with, because the animation for the first season was not even good 2006 animation. It was fine, but it wasn't great. There's also a whole bunch of filler in season 1. Especially in the beginning, which was not good. But D Gray Man has great characters. If you're not a manga reader, then like I'd still watch it. But like if you are a manga reader, then just read the manga, because it's. But I mean, like read manga because it's better, but also the manga might not ever end. So there's that too.
Yeah.
It has one chapter a year at most. So.
Yeah. And it's really it's really unfortunate for fans of the series. They lay by the Hunter x Hunter fans, who are sad as well.
And Berserk. Well, Berserk's back now, but it's the same thing.
They'll cry every time. So on to the next one. Okay, have any of you seen Black Lagoon?
We did Black Lagoon.
We already talked about Black Lagoon.
Oh, wait, this is the second bro.
Black Lagoon
this is the second season 2.
Which I have not seen. I have not seen the second season.
That's pretty cool. They came out both in the same year. So
I guess
you guys want to power through an entire show. There it is from 2006. So I think these next ones are more out there, I would say. That's twice. So Ergo Proxy, that is on my list and Kuro's list. Waffles, is this an anticipation for you?
Yeah, this is another show where like it's got everything that I like. So on paper, it's a show I should like a lot. But I'm like saving it. I don't want to watch it just yet because I feel like I'm gonna like it a lot, and I just want it. I like to know that there's something out there waiting for me. You know, like some people like to know that there's a lover out there waiting for them. You know, that they're gonna meet someday. I like knowing that there's a show waiting for me.
I'm out here waiting for you. Kuro, are you
Yeah.
are you stoked as well? Like I'm
I'm very, very excited. I'm watching it soon, like hopefully.
nice. Let me know. I'm probably have to join you with that. But
I'm
yeah,
actually gonna cosplay the character from it just because I have a wig that looks like hers and her makeup's really cool. And since I'm gonna watch it anyway, I might as well.
which you all should check out her cosplay Instagram when
I
happens.
make it,
When
yeah.
she makes it, yeah.
It's happening
So coming
soon.
Coming soon. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be a first. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so on to the next one, Paprika, which I haven't seen this movie, but I've seen a couple movies from the same director, Satoshi Kon, and
God.
I will say I am a Con-er, I guess, Con fan. I'm consummated. I like all his work, so hopefully once we get to this in the what's it called, in the movie club, I think I'm really gonna enjoy this, especially since it's like a psychological thing. What about you guys? Have you guys had a chance to watch it yet?
I just want to say that I would enjoy, like, you would enjoy this movie. I would have enjoyed if Kuro had told me when she was watching it because I definitely
I'm sorry.
gave her a heads up. I definitely gave her a heads up. I was like, yo, I'm going to the climbing gym, but like let me know when you watch it because it'll probably be right when I get home. And then I get home, she's still talking about some other movie, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go do something else. And then next thing I know, she's like discussing the movie with people. I'm like, oh, well, where was the notification? No notification for me, but whatever. I love this movie. This movie might be my favorite movie, but it's been too long since I've seen it. So that's why I don't have it as my favorite because I can't reliably say it, but I love it so much. Like the visuals, the plot, the characters, the use of psychological elements. Like this movie really has it all. And I think most people say Perfect Blue is the better movie.
I think so.
I think Perfect Blue definitely has more atmosphere. It has more like tension. It makes you feel more uncomfortable. But Paprika for me, I liked the visuals a lot more, and I liked the cinematography more in Paprika. So I don't know. I need to rewatch it, but this is definitely one of my favorite anime.
What about you, Kuro?
Yeah, so I just watched it. After this, I only have one more Satoshi Kon film to finish. And I like everything he's done, so when I say this, it's not really a bad thing. It's probably my least favorite that I've watched, but I still gave it like a 7.5, so it was still really good. Visually, I think it's visually the best film of his, but slash series, because he did Paranoid Agent. But yeah, it's not my favorite. I liked what it tried to do, but at times I just wasn't really following the story of the movie. So yeah, that's kind of really it. The visually amazing. It was also his last finished work that he did before he died, so it's kind of important.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But it's in anticipation for this movie when it eventually gets picked. I thought Magnetic Rose, which is the first part of the Memories anthology series, was going to be similar to this because it looked visually the same, but boy, was I wrong. It sucked. So my expectation for this is extremely high, so I'm hoping...
It's still good, yeah. Perfect Blue is my favorite, so...
Yeah, and I can't wait to watch that as well. It'll be a great ride. All right, on to this next one. Nana. So being a stupidly hype Carol and Tuesday fan. I have been recommended this show to no fucking end. I will definitely watch it because I do love music anime so damn much. But what about you guys? Has Waffle seen it? I know Kuro has.
I've only seen like the first few episodes. It's something that I think I have it like in my on hold as an 8 right now though. Like
Yeah.
I really liked what I saw.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, I guess I got busy and then I never got around to it. Like I watched this or started watching this in like 2008, I want to say 2007.
Yeah.
So it's just so long ago. So obviously I'll have to start over, but it is something that I think from what I've heard, it lives up to the hype, and from what I saw, just it seemed like a really strong anime. But I can't judge it based on what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read the manga for it. I haven't actually watched the anime. I haven't finished the manga. I've read like 15 chapters, I think, so far. But I was reminded, because of Carol and Tuesday, that I'm going to pick it back up because I've actually had it on hold for a while. But I'm going to pick it back up. It's really depressing because it's like really realistic. And I think that's why I ended up putting it on hold for a bit. But it's also not finished because the author got really sick, I think. So its last chapter was in 2009, and it's pretty much marked as finished, but it's not.
Wow. Damn.
So that's one thing about it as well.
That hurts.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah, regardless though, I definitely want to see it and add it to my list because I'm trying to power through a lot of different music shows. So anyways, on to the next one. AirGear. It's on here because I don't know, I recognized it. I saw like half an episode and was like, no. What about what about you guys?
So this is one I haven't seen the anime, but I've read a decent amount of the manga, and it was one of my first manga. I think like my 5th or something. I don't know, but like this one, it's just so awesome to see. Like there aren't a lot of extreme sports things in anime or manga like at all. And I was super into extreme sports when I was a kid, and so like seeing it in in a manga was just so cool for me. Just yeah, I don't know, the action scenes are really cool. The plot doesn't really make much sense. Well, it makes sense, but it's not that engaging. But you're not there for the plot. It's not something I would rate highly, but it's definitely something that if you're into extreme sports at all, like skateboarding or BMX or whatever, this can kind of give you your fix. Yeah, it's a fun ride.
Nice. Well, if I'm ever bored, I'll probably take a shot at it. But considering how much needs to get caught up on, probably not gonna happen anytime soon. But regardless, I've still seen it around a couple times. Like it's definitely not like an unknown, like out there type of show. Like it's something, you know, a good amount of people have seen. So let's move on to the next one. Aria the Natural. This is the favorite anime from my homie Quiz. So if you see this Quiz, shout out to you, bro. He plugs this anime like no other, and you know I'm going to watch it, but it's just not really in my own like flavor of show that I like to watch. But I don't know. How about you guys? Have you guys gone through the Aria series yet?
I have not. I think I watched like half of the first episode and that's it.
Oh, okay. What about you?
I don't
finished
think it's a
season
show
1.
for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kuro.
Yeah, I like Aria. I finished season 1. I was gonna start season 2, which is The Natural, this month, but I'm running out of time, so probably won't get to watch it this month. But I really like the Aria series. I just think the characters are really good and they're very sweet, and it's a calming series. The music is really pretty, and Aria the Natural is also rated way higher than the first season from what I remember. So I'm excited to see it.
I think that is because all the people who don't like Aria
Aren't watching it.
Why
Yeah.
would they put themselves through watching the second season if they hated the first one.
This is very true.
Because
But
Aria is a very polarizing show. Like, if you're not into that slice of life, like kind of chill type of show with not too much going on, like you can't stand it. Like for me, it's rough because I like dark shows. So yeah, there's no chance I would make it through a second season if I did make it through the first.
I feel it. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next one. Now, these next two I put in just for me personally, and I'm only going to touch on them really quick. So, y'all can touch on them if you want, but this is Megaman EX. I used to watch the shit out of this as a kid every Saturday morning. I don't know about y'all, but I love this show. It was such a fun ride and a new take on Mega Man as a whole. I was such a huge Mega Man nerd back in the day. But it was actually, I mean, from what I remember, it was pretty good. I like the story, the powers and abilities, but I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the Mega Man series at all?
I've seen the first one, I think.
Oh, nice.
I definitely haven't seen this. I can just from the art. Like I've never seen Mega Man looking like that at all.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too much into Mega Man. I thought he was kind of boring. He's like, I don't know. I felt like he was a Mecha Kirby.
I feel it.
But I played the games.
Yeah.
For the NES, like I've played all. What are there 10?
Yeah.
And I've never beat any of them because I suck at Mega Man so much. Maybe that's the real reason I didn't like Mega Man is because I couldn't beat the games, so I was just frustrated. So he must be a shitty character, right? If I can't beat his game, that's just how that works.
Oh yeah, of course. But they said that it comes from the game. Yeah, I think because there was a time where like a lot of the OG Mega Mans were coming out, like all the X's, and they needed a way to pivot away from the X because they made very bad versions of the X series. I think it was X11 and 12. So they put Mega Man in like the digital space. And so you had like these little cards they put into the little machines, and then he would get like power ups and stuff. So it was kind of like it's basically a virtual battle simulator game that they would play in their world. But I mean, I don't know. I really liked it. It was a big joy for me to watch as a kid because it hyped me up so many times, along with everything else that was airing, like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you guys want some fun Mega Man stuff, I definitely recommend watching it. It has some cool lightheartedness to it, so it has a certain vibe. But yeah, I feel like Mega Man, definitely check it out. Okay. And then this is another one. It gets even to more obscure. Choatic. Have you guys ever seen this?
Mm-mm.
Hey, I'm waiting for it to show up on the stream.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I've read there's like a comic book. This was like Bionicle, right? Like, isn't it related to?
Sort of. Basically, it was a card game that you would go into this online world, and then you would become the like your main card, and then you would fight between you and your opponent. This was kind of like the thing that was supposed to be like the next Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. And I guess
no, I never saw this. I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, it was like it was supposed to be like the next Yu-Gi-Oh. It was like a Canadian show. But it was pretty cool for the time. I really liked it. It was another Saturday morning enjoyment. I'm sure some people, when they watch this and hear about it, Choatic, they'll be like, oh shit, I totally remember that from when I was a kid. And it went on for a little while, but it kind of really fell off.
I just realized this is so obscure. It
Yeah.
doesn't even have a rating on Kitsu.
Yeah, exactly. But I distinctly remember the show.
Rank 12,000.
Yeah. Did you want me to put what you put to me in chat? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to count this as 2006. I know no one else will. Because it's really not. It's not 2006. But in a way, I look at this as a re-release of Shin-can. So in 2006, Funimation put out their English dub of Shin-can, which completely changed the plot, the characters, all the dialogue was just totally different. The only thing that's the same is the visuals. They didn't reanimate anything. So you can kind of think of it, if any of you are old men like me and Benji, you might have seen the show Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Hell yeah.
Where they took a Japanese game show and just did all the voiceovers again. Shin-can's kind of like the same thing. It's a very South Park style of humor in the Funimation dub. The original sub is dirty too, but it's just it's a very different vibe. It's more wholesome. It actually has values. This show is like, it's honestly like South Park. The humor is super crude. And I just love it. I don't know. Every episode I watch, I just burst out laughing every time. And yeah, I was rewatching it, and I think I got to like episode 17, and then I kind of put it on hold like a month ago. But I'm definitely gonna finish rewatching it because I love this show. It's a great show to just put on when you're at your end of your day. You just want to see something really funny. Just watch a couple episodes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I do love South Park, so this may have to be going there.
It's very similar style of humor.
Have you seen this, Kuro?
No, not at all.
Yeah, not surprised. Cool. Well, we are nearing the end of the show, and we have one more anime for you guys, the one that we teased at the beginning.
Oh no!
That also came out in 2006, and it's How I Learned You Cannot Search Up Not Safe for Work series unless you have an account signed in. So, one of the very polarizing shows that released in 2006 was Boku no Pico. A very interesting story, to say the least. Led to one of the funniest YouTube videos I've ever seen. You guys will know what I'm talking about if you've seen it.
Yes.
But
Do not watch an anime called Boku.
Don't.
That video is I don't like it at all, because it's a white guy reading a forum post written by a guy who's not white, and I don't know, I don't like that video. I think it's offensive.
Yeah, I saw it when I was like 12, and it was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
I remember when it went viral though. I remember that video.
What about you, Kuro?
Yeah, I've watched some of it. Not intentionally, as most have.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you unintentionally watch Boku no Pico? I want to hear this.
Because you know the meme where, like, because I started watching anime right when the meme was like had just.
You actually listened to someone recommending Boku?
No, they didn't. Like, not that they necessarily recommended it, but everyone was joking about like, oh, don't watch Boku no Pico, and I was like, why?
Oh, then you intentionally watched it. You wanted to see what all the.
Yeah, but I didn't know why. I didn't know what it was about or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I would still call that intentionally. Like, you didn't know what it was, but you sought it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like someone tricked you into watching it.
Yeah.
This is true.
This is true. Recommendation is at an all-time 0. If I can go into negatives, I would. Don't watch this. Anyways. It was just interesting to see that had, because it was like a big meme back in the day.
It's still a meme. Well, people still try to make it a meme. It's not funny anymore.
It still definitely is.
The meme needs to die. Like, it's not funny. It never was. And just stop recommending it to new anime fans. Like, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
just not cool.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good gateway into people who are barely getting into anime as a whole.
I'm surprised I didn't decide to stop watching anime.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, so that is the 2006 year in review. So let's go ahead and give our letter grades. Which one you guys want to start? Write these down.
I'll go first. I thought this year as a whole is incredibly strong. It lives up to the hype. Just it has so much depth. Like we've been talking for what, like an hour and a half now?
Yeah,
almost. And we honestly, we could have gone more in depth on a lot of the shows. So I'm gonna give it. Still gonna reserve an A+, but I'm gonna call this an A-.
Okay, cool. Cool.
2006, A minus.
What about you, Kuro?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I want to reserve an A plus, but an A minus definitely.
Cool. And I will give it an A because I love Code Geass that much. It was so like, yeah, it was just so different at the time, and I'd never seen anything like it. So it's just such a high regarded show, in my head. So, but yeah, so that's the rating. I'm tracking all these ratings as well. So we'll be able to see the comparisons, along down the line, later on. So, but yeah, that is a year in review for 2006. And we are actually going to end the stream on a quick ranting note, just like we did last week, where we rant about something, whatever we want, for the next 30 seconds. Let me go ahead and put Discord on the screen real quick. Cool. And this is just how we like to end out the shows, and just kind of, after a bunch of analyzing and breaking shit down, we don't want to just release all our tensions just by ranting for 30 seconds about whatever we want. Does not have to be anime related. And let me go ahead and get the timer on the screen. Oops, that is not the timer. I think it's right here. Cool. But who wants to go first? Kuro, or Waffles? You guys have a preference? Who wants to?
I'll go. Mine's not a rant, but
it could be whatever you want.
It was making me tense, so
you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure it pops up on stream real quick. I really should have this good to go. Okay. All right. Okay, you ready, Kuro?
Yes.
Cool. And in 3, 2, 1.
So during stream, I had to take a break for a second, and it was because I kept hearing noises in my house, and my dad's at work, so I got really freaked out. And so I grabbed an umbrella, and I walked out of my room, and turns out the noise is because my dog shut herself in the bathroom and was banging on stuff, and she does this all the time, and I'm just really angry about it because I don't like being home alone, and it freaked me out a lot. She does it all the time. She locks herself in the room across from mine and then starts barking, and it's just annoying. So that's my rant. Because I'm still coming down from thinking there's an intruder in my house.
Well, fear is definitely a good way to rant about. That's fucking hilarious. What about you, Waffles? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Whoops.
I just posted a visual aid in the
visual aid.
Oh no.
There it is. Okay.
All right, let me know when to start.
All right. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so everyone poops. Everyone wipes their butt. Everyone uses toilet paper to do so. Now, why can't everyone understand that there is a right way and a wrong way to hang the toilet paper on the toilet paper holder? Like, why would I want my toilet paper to rub up against the dirty wall? Do you know what that wall is covered in? Fecal matter. Okay? I'm getting it all over my hands, and I'm just rubbing it all over my butt when I grab that toilet paper.
Stop.
So make sure that you put your toilet paper away from the wall.
Wow, I appreciate that. I love the PSA there. Definitely really gets it out there. Okay, cool. All right, I guess it is my turn. So Kuro, do you want to count me down right now? Give me 1 second here, and I will be all set to go. Okay, ready?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
So why is it that people just seem to forget how to drive when it fucking rains? Like, is it too much to ask you just, drive normally like you're supposed to, and not drive like the water is going to fucking kill you? It's just water. Water does not do shit to your car if you just drive like you're supposed to at the speed limit. No, it does not mean to bring out your 4x4 fucking truck, zoom past everybody in highway traffic, and then make everyone have to get out of the way for your dumbasses because you want to try out the 4 tread wheels that you did on your lifted Toyota, whatever the fuck you have. Okay. Okay, that was our 30-second rant towards the end. But either way, appreciate everybody in chat for tuning in, watching us live. This is going to go up audio and video as well. Video on YouTube, audio on every single streaming platform that is available. And we hit affiliate today, guys. So yay, we did it.
Let's go.
And so we're going to get a sub button. Woo. But either way, it's super exciting stuff for the stream. We're going to keep on making it better and better every single week. So if you guys don't catch the live stream, the YouTube will actually have the chat as well in the video too. And yeah, we're going to try to be adding more and more production value as time goes on. So anyways, appreciate everyone that tuned in. Thank you guys. It really means a lot. Like a lot of people have been giving us a lot of positive feedback and we love it. And just keep it coming. We always want to try to improve this and make it better every single week for you. So without any more to be said, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. 7:00 Pacific Standard Time is when we go live. So any guys final thoughts you wanted to say?
I'm good.
Good. Cool.
I am good as long as people learn to place their toilet paper correctly.
Beautiful. Anyways, see you guys. Have a good one.